Hello Year 5, we have got a very creative lesson for you today. We are going to be designing our own text maps for our new fiction text. Think back to text maps that we have used before. Let's have a look at the text map for George's secret key to the universe. Each box on our text map represents a sentence. So the first sentence, slipping on his spacesuit, George anticipated the adventure ahead of him. Obviously that's quite tricky to draw. So what Miss Mayhew did was she drew a little man in a spacesuit. She drew her stick man with a G on top to represent George, and then shows that he is thinking about his rocket adventure. In the next box, Annie, whose face was beaming, typed her commands into Cosmos, the greatest computer in the world. Now look carefully because you can see that Miss Mayhew has included the correct punctuation. So around the relative clause, which is whose face was beaming, shown there by that lovely smiley face, Miss Mayhew has put her commas. And again, in the brackets, the greatest computer in the world. Now to show the greatest computer in the world, that's quite tricky. So a world and an exclamation mark is showing that, and that is in the brackets. Remember, you also need a full stop at the end of each of your sentences. Your task today is to create a text map for our new text, The Nightmare Man. In the next few slides, I will be reading the story out paragraph by paragraph, but I'm going to explain to you what you're going to do first. In your home learning pack, you may have found this template sheet already. Don't worry if you're not able to print it out, because you can draw the boxes yourself. Make sure you do it neatly using a ruler. The colours don't need to match, as long as you try and use 4 different colours to show the 4 different paragraphs. In paragraph 1, there are 5 sentences, so you need 5 boxes. In paragraph 2, there are 4 sentences, and then in paragraphs 3 and 4, there are 5 sentences again. Each box represents a sentence, so I would recommend drawing 3 to 5 pictures per box. You do not need to draw a picture for every word. You just need to try and create the main idea of the sentence through your drawings. You must include the punctuation in each sentence, so whether that be commas, you'll need your full stop at the end, you might have used brackets. It's also important to include the fronted adverbials, and some of these you might just need to write the word, for example, finally, because that would be quite tricky to draw. I've just chosen 2 example sentences from the text map. Now you know that art isn't my strength, but I am going to explain my thought process behind my drawings. So for the first one, Sally was afraid of many things, but what she feared the most was the darkness. So I've got Sally looking scared of many things. I thought about what people are scared of: spiders, planes, snakes. I've put my conjunction in there, but, and then I've put a sad face and tried to exaggerate it, so something that she fears the most, and then I've got darkness, and then I've got my full stop at the end. In the next sentence, which is actually the final sentence of the 3rd paragraph, I've shown Sally's shocked face. I've shown somebody clinging to a window. See, those are meant to be little hands there. And then the 2 eyes staring towards Sally, again with my full stop at the end. So I hope you see that you don't need to be drawing lots. You just need to give the gist of the sentence through pictures. And don't worry if you're, like me, not very confident in your art skills, just give it your best shot. Here is the first paragraph of our model text. As I read it out loud, start thinking, what images could you draw for each sentence? Sally was afraid of many things, but what she feared the most was the darkness. Every night she would make excuses to delay the moment when the bedroom light was switched off, plunging her room into a bottomless void. As her eyes adjusted, Vague shapes swam into view. The chair in the corner looked like an old man crouching down, ready to leap at her. The dressing gown on the back of the door was like a thin man, leaning, waiting for her to sleep before he hobbled across the room towards her. I'm just going to pick out a few words or phrases that you might want to draw something for. Every night, for example, you could draw the moon and the stars. Remember to include the comma after it. Something like bedroom light is quite simple because you could just draw a light bulb, plunging her room into a bottomless void. I think of a black hole or perhaps a dark tunnel. With the phrase, as her eyes adjusted, you could just draw a pair of eyes. Remember the ellipsis at the end of the paragraph. Make sure you are including the correct punctuation. And do remember that you do not have to draw a picture for every word. As long as the pictures give you the main idea of the sentence, then that's fine. It's whatever works best for you and helps you retell the story. Pause the video and have a go at drawing the text map for the first paragraph. Here is paragraph 2. Sally lay in the darkness every night watching the old man and the thin man. However, the nightmare man haunted her. Sally had seen him once watching her through the window, a tall dark shape with a creepy cloak billowing out behind him and 2 red eyes that glowed. She had spent the rest of the night buried under the covers waiting for dawn. So you have got 4 sentences here to go into your 4 boxes for paragraph 2. Pause the video while you draw your text map for this section. Here is the 3rd paragraph. Remember, you might want to use some images that you've already used before. The night of a storm, Sally lay in her bed watching the old man and the thin man. Thunder grumbled in the distance, lightning crackled, and rain lashed the street. Surely the nightmare man wouldn't be out on a night like this. Heart thudding, she crept from her bed and peeked through the curtains. She got the shock of her life, because there he was, clinging to the window, with his twin red eyes staring right at her. Pause the video while you have a go at drawing the text map for this paragraph. And the final paragraph. At that very moment, the lightning flashed, lighting up the night sky. The nightmare man had gone, but Sally could see a distant tower, a tower with 2 red lights. She also saw the tree by her window move in the wind, casting a dark shadow. In that moment, she realised that the nightmare man had not really existed at all, only in her mind. This is the first time that I have done this activity with a class, so I'm really excited to see what you have created today. Please upload your text map to Padlet or email it to your teacher so we can see what you have come up with. We might even use yours as an example for this term or perhaps even for the Year 5s next year.